Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've seen a handful of different meta changes over the course of Season 4 so far, and with that today I wanted to sit down and rank the new top 10 best weapons in the game. While a lot of them are similar to a lot of the meta weapons that we've been talking about for a bit, the order in which they actually land in the top 10 has shaken up quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. So as we break everything down, if you enjoy the video or if you find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated. Let's try and aim for 2,000 likes on this video, see if we can hit the like goal. And if you're new here or if you haven't already subscribed, every day I got you covered with everything going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips. You're gonna find it all right here. So feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. So maybe a bit of a spoiler alert, but as we know, Vanguard guns kind of dominate the meta, so expect a lot of them in this video. But coming in at number 10, I've got the PPSH. This thing has various different builds. There's a hipfire build that just dominates close range. There's also an ADS build that I find to be a bit more consistent that is ridiculously good. Great TTK, great mobility, magazine size is pristine for any mode. Like, you cannot go wrong with this thing. It's got pros in basically every single category. So first up here, we are going to go for the recoil booster. Like I said, I want to focus on the ADS build here. So in this case, I want to go for the 300mm barrel. These other ones, the Empress Rapid, that fire rate's a little bit too extreme for me. I feel like it messes with the recoil in some awkward ways. The light barrel, not bad at all. Gives you some really good strafe speed. I feel like for the most well-rounded build though, most players will go for 300, but both of these are great choices for what it's worth. You could definitely experiment around. I also like the upgraded iron sights here. The ISO 3P, nice and clean, super easy to stay on target. Remove stock here is going to give you that better movement speed, better sprint to fire. Hip fire accuracy is there too. While that's not a primary focus, it's a nice added bonus. I also like the skeletal underbarrel here. Better ADS, so it's snappier there, but also better movement speed. For the ADS build, we also want the Gorenko 71 basic extended mag. I like subsonic here. You could also go for hollow point, frangible, or lengthened on any of the Vanguard subs. Every single one of those ammo types is pretty solid right now. For the rear grip, I'm still running with taped on a lot of my Vanguard subs for that better movement speed, also the better sprint to fire as well. Perk 1, I'm going to go for tight grip to help out with that control, and then perk 2, going to go for quick for some added mobility on there as well. Like I said, very well-rounded, very consistent SMG. And number 9, I've got the Armaguerra. This thing is, again, very reliable. Low recoil, good mobility, pretty solid damage as well. The TTK is best to bite some subs that are higher up on this list, obviously, but this is reliable and one of my favorite subs in the game. I would argue top 3 of favorite subs in the game right now, honestly. Setup here going to be pretty basic to the PPSH in comparison there. Recoil booster, we're going to go for the 570 barrel here for the better control, but also a really good TTK up close. Basic red dot here, slate reflector, no surprises there. Skeletal stock for the better strafe speed, better ADS, and better initial recoil. I like skeletal here. I also like compact here. Both really good choices. For the strafe speed though, I'm going to end up going for compact. For the magazine, we'll go for the 9mm 60. Again, subsonic or any of the other ammo types that you might prefer. We're going to go for taped as well for the better movement speed. Hard scope for some better control. And then once again, we're going to go for quick on there too. Absolute beast of a setup. Next up, I've got the Cooper, the best sniper support weapon in the game. Low recoil, decent mobility, really good TTK, especially through like the first 30-35 meters. The thing, it fries. Plain and simple. Console, PC, controller, keyboard and mouse, doesn't matter. The thing is consistent, it is easy, it is dominant. So first up, I'm going to go for MX Silencer. Better control, but also keeps us off the radar. Cooper custom barrel here, better fire rate, better control, better damage range. I like the 2.5 times optic on here. It's perfect for those sniper support ranges and also some long range if you absolutely need it. You could go for the 45 RS stock here, which is my personal choice. It's the most aggressive, also helps out with a little bit of control. Padded though, better control during sustained fire is fantastic. And if you wanted a super aggro build, you could try something like remove stock, which is fast, as is skeletal. Your control is just going to be a little bit worse for those, but to me 45 RS is the way to go. For the underbarrel, I go for skeletal to get some better mobility there. The control is just super easy, especially when we're running the 9mm 60 round drums there, and then also compressed rounds for a better fire rate. You could also use lengthened on here though if you wanted to as well for some of those mid-range fights. I'm going to end up running hatched in this case just for some better control. That's going to make it nice and easy to use again. Same deal with tight grip. And then lastly, we're going to go for fully loaded on hand. Also a really good choice though too for that faster ADS. But this to me is the most consistent build that I've been using for a long time, and it gets the job done. Now, like I said, the meta is mainly Vanguard guns, but the Vargo 52, the best non-Vanguard gun in the game right now, in my opinion. pretty low recoil. It has like that S-curve pattern that's not too difficult, but really good range, really good control, really good TTK over range as well with good velocity. So it's got all the right components. It just doesn't have 10 attachments, which is its main drawback there versus the Vanguard guns, obviously, but it is still a great alternative to those and easily a top weapon in the game. So we're gonna go for Grew Suppressor, Task Force, Spetsnaz Grip, of course, the 60 round mags, and the 3x optic. Basic Cold War setup, we all know it by now, but it is still a top competitor at the moment. Following that, we got the brand new UGM8. Yes, this was nerfed a little bit a few days back, but it honestly is still very, very good for medium and long range fights. The drawback here, the reason it's not higher up despite having a very good TTK, is that super slow reload, and obviously its mobility is a bit worse as well because it is an LMG. There's a few different ways you can build this one out. We do want to start off with the MX silencer there. I'm also going to go ahead and run the Strife angled underbarrel for the better horizontal control. I select the British 75 round mags, better control, better fire rate. It feels nice and consistent for that. We want to go for lengthened per usual on any basic rifle or long range weapon. You could go for hatched or you could go for polymer here. I feel like hatched is a little bit more helpful yet again. Perk 2, we want to go for fully loaded. For the optic, we want to go for the 3 to 6 times, and then these last few attachments is where you can mess around. So the stock I feel like is relatively universal, although you could have some preferences based on the barrel. If you wanted to use the anchor stock, I'd recommend you go ahead and you use the 736 barrel, the full auto. This one has a really, really good damage drop off, like its range is fantastic, and if that's the case, I'd go for this barrel, the anchor stock, and then I'd also go for tight grip. But if you want to use the burst version of the gun, which is also very consistent, you'd use the burst barrel. I'd go for the Forte stock, which is initial firing recoil. Then I'd also go for brace on there as well. Same setup everywhere else. And this to me is my go-to setup. But like I said, you could go either or, and they're both very strong. Jumping back over to some SMGs, we got the Marco 5 up next, conveniently in that 5 spot. I mean, the thing is great for mobility, great for close range TTK. Recoil could be a bit better for some builds, especially for my top TTK build, but hey, it gets the job done. It's super fun to use. We're going for recoil booster. I still like the 240 barrel the most. There are other options with the 342 for good control, the Lesto for good movement, but for pure TTK, I'm going for the 240. I also like the slate reflector on there, the FR stock for the better initial recoil, ADS, and movement speed, so it's nice and fast. Skeletal underbarrel also helping out the mobility there. You could also go for something like the M1915 steady if you wanted some better control on there as well. I still like the 64 round drums as well, better control, just a basic extended mag in a lot of ways, though subsonic to keep us off the map. Tapes for better movement. Perk 1, Gung Ho seems to be the go-to for a lot of players, myself included, for that faster sprint to fire. Then also we got quick on there per usual. Very consistent and very strong setup as mentioned. Then I got the Blixen following that, just a tad bit better than the Marco. The Marco, and the Armaguerra are my top 3 subs, in case you're wondering. Easily my favorites to run in the game, all very strong. The Marco and the Blixen's TTKs plus their movement though is just so reliable, so consistent. I love this thing. As far as this build goes, recoil booster first up, of course. We're also going to run the F3 barrel, my favorite barrel by a mile now after the update. We got the slate reflector, remove stock to still have really good mobility on there. Also going to run either the compact underbarrel or the M1915 steady if you want control. I prefer the aim walking move speed though. We got Gorenko 54 on there. We got subsonic. We've got taped on here as well. Perk 1 is going to end up being fleet for the better movement, but also better weapon swap quickness. And then quick for the better sprint speed per usual there. Super easy to control, but also a fantastic TTK. And then when it comes to the top 3, I'm not gonna lie, 1, 2, and 3 are all kind of interchangeable, right? I think there's an argument made for all the following weapons here, but I got the STG in this spot. I mean, low recoil, yeah, I got nerfed a little bit with Season 4, but it's still super easy to use, which means you're gonna have a great realistic TTK. Good range, great velocity, like you cannot go wrong with this build here. MX silencer, we got the 760 barrel, 2.5 times optic. I'm still loving the folding stock. It hurts your initial recoil a bit, but that better movement makes it a lot more aggressive. Great for Rebirth and Fortune's Keep, and still super easy to use on Caldera as well. We got the hand stop here, basic underbarrel, no surprises there, nothing changing with that one. Gorenko 50, we got lengthened of course on there as well for the better velocity. Hatch grip or polymer, both are going to work just fine here. Again, there's no real wrong answer with those. Perk 1, we're going to go for Nerves of Steel for that better control while injured, and then fully loaded to maximize that ammo. Like I said, this, number 2, number 1, all interchangeable. Now next up, we've got the bar. Yeah, slow fire rate, but the damage, insane. Low recoil, heavy hitting, movement is kind of for a rifle, but it is what it is. The thing just hits, it just feels strong, it feels competitive, and especially because of the changes made to the STG and the NZ in the past, this one is feeling especially good to me. We got the MX silencer here. You could also try recoil booster if you wanted to as well, for what it's worth. The 30-inch barrel, I'm gonna go for the 3 to 6 times optic. 2.5 also works just fine as well. You could go for the Chariot WR or the wire stock. Chariot WR is gonna be more recoil based. Wire is a little bit more aggressive based. Just depends on your personal play style there. We're gonna go for the hand stop yet again. Magazine's gonna be Clouser 40. We of course got lengthened on there as always. Again, polymer or hatched, both of those work just fine. Perk 1, we're gonna end up going for hard scope for the better control, and then you guessed it, we got fully loaded on there once more. And of course, we can't not talk about the NZ41. The thing is pretty easy to use still, despite the recoil nerf, still has very consistent range. I think it thrives the most as a medium range weapon, but in general, the versatility of this gun is just too good to pass up. We all know by now this thing is a top contender for sure. Setup is going to be pretty basic though. MX silencer, we got the Orb Weaver barrel, 2.5 times or 3 to 6, whatever your personal preference is. I like running the E-Pack stock for the best control out there. We also got the Strife angled underbarrel here to manage some of that horizontal bounce. For magazines, we got the 40 or the 50. 50 is going to be the most consistent, obviously the easiest for trios and quads because the larger capacity, but 40 also works really well too. The damage is going to be a little bit worse over range because the cons there, but hey, I mean, like, there really is no wrong answer with either of these. A lot of it comes down to what you're the most confident with. We also have lengthened here to help out that velocity some. We're going to use hatched grip here. Perk 1 is going to be brace for that better initial control, and then fully loaded on there one more time to close things out. And that said, those are the top 10 best weapons ranked here in Warzone right now, and that's going to wrap things up. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. That way you can always guarantee you are up to date with everything going on in the world of COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.